We've met before, right?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dirt Road Nation.
I'm Zach.
I'm pissed.
We are the Dirt Road Men. And that's my dog Ace. He is furiously licking a can.
Is it Monster?
No, it's Glade.
Oh, his farts are gonna smell great.
Anyway, so in this video, we're here to talk to you about why you should try rye whiskey. If you haven't noticed, we've been doing some different profiles of whiskeys that are what makes them unique, so that if you go through these videos and you see something that sounds better to you than the other things, you can go to that whiskey and perhaps find the whiskey that is right for you. We do have another week of whiskey before we get to bourbon. We haven't done Irish yet.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this week we're going to talk about rye whiskey. So with that, do you want to get into the first reason someone might prefer rye whiskey?
It's a little spicier. It tends to be drier on the taste versus the normal sweet oiliness that you might find in bourbon.
Now my dog's furiously licking a whiskey bottle. I don't blame him on that one.
Say something for me, huh?
Number 2 is cocktails. A lot of American cocktails are traditionally made, that was terrifying, with
Whiskey.
rye whiskey. Excuse me. And the reason for that is actually that rye whiskey is a very strong, distinctive flavor that is less likely to drown out in a cocktail than bourbon likely would be. Especially because most cocktails add sweetness to it. Bourbon's already sweet. Mm-hmm. So that's why people tend to lean towards rye whiskey. You're going to have to pardon me while I mind my fucking idiot over here. He's cute, but he's a puppy, so he's not that bright.
An example of a cocktail that comes to mind is like the Manhattan. That's traditionally made with rye whiskey, or if you've ever had a Sazerac, that was made with Sazerac rye, specifically.
Mm-hmm. It's now personally, I actually prefer a Manhattan and an old fashioned made with bourbon, but I've got a little bit of a sweet tooth, so there's that.
I think my favorite bourbon cocktail is the Kentucky Martini.
Same. Same.
But we're not talking about bourbon today.
Don't worry, we're going to touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Somebody's getting punched in the nads.
Hey, at least I didn't title this one like I titled the Scotch video. But you know what? The Scotch doesn't have anything to do with fact number 4, so...
Yeah. So, number 3... Were you done?
I was done.
Oh, okay.
If you want to hit him with reason number 3?
Reason number 3. The history behind it. It was it came first. It came before like bourbon. Rye whiskey was being distilled before bourbon. Yeah, mm-hmm. And it was much more common around the founding of our nation. Even George Washington had his own taste for it. Had his own distillery.
On his property.
Shit, I remembered that right offhand, and I screwed it up by double checking.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big rye distilleries are around the. I'm doing this because in my head, like the 13 original colonies, you know, up here.
It kind of went south too.
Yeah, but I mean, instead of doing like this, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah.
What were you saying initially? Because you just deviated on why you were making the hand motions with what you were saying and never completed your thought.
A lot of the big rye distilleries, most of them are up in the northeast or the eastern coast of the United States, around the 13 original colonies.
There we go.
First 13 states, if you will. That's
yeah.
what I was getting at. I guess I
okay,
said that.
That makes sense when you put it together that way. It just the way it came out may have made sense to some of you, but it didn't make any goddamn sense to me, so... And I've known this guy for a while. Usually he doesn't have to complete a thought for me to get what he's saying. Which, I did get what you were saying, but it's still... The words that came out didn't make any damn sense.
Don't nobody understand words that are coming out of your mouth.
Fact number 4, and this
Bullshit.
is possibly the most important
Bullshit.
fact on this list for why you might want to start thinking about rye whiskey over bourbon. And that is that bourbon has a history that is somewhat tied with the French, specifically a French royal house around the time of our founding. And, fuck the French, so...
Yeah. You know, the only good thing the French have done was they did lend great support to us during our fucking of England. So
Our war for independence.
yeah, I will allow, I guess.
France was okay back then.
France was okay back then. They're not anymore.
No. You know, the Swiss Army has its own knife, right? And it's got a corkscrew on it and all kinds of stuff. Scissors, so you can, like, stitch somebody up, drink some wine, whatever you want to do. The American military has its own knife. It's called the K-bar. And the French military has its own knife. And it looks a lot like a pocket knife, but when you pop it out, it's just like a little white flag. And I just think it fits them so well. Anyway.
Pretty sure on the lower end of their shirts, there's an arrow pointing to their trousers that says, insert dick here.
We just gotta have a burn round on the French for a minute so that you can feel a little better about all this.
It's either that or I'm punching you in the nads.
Because I told you the truth? This isn't even the first time we discussed this.
Yeah.
Bourbon started in Kentucky because of Thomas Jefferson after the Whiskey Rebellion, which had to do with rye whiskey. And a bunch of those guys were fucking pissed that they were made to pay taxes on their distilleries and things like this. So Thomas Jefferson, post the quelling of the Whiskey Rebellion by George Washington, when a sitting president led an army and then let everyone go after he won. Thomas Jefferson was like, hey, come to my state, I'll give you free land and tax breaks to distill here. So, in other words, he solved their problem. The issue, though, was corn was the easiest thing to grow down there. And he had Kentucky at that point, the part of Kentucky that Bourbon County is in, was part of Virginia. And he named that area after the French royal house that was involved in helping us with our independence. I know this isn't a bourbon video, but I need Jake's head not to explode. So, here we are. We've gone over all this before.
I'm just fucking with you.
I know, man. I just thought I'd get in there. Plus, I was kind of impressed with my ability to recall the whole story right there in the moment.
I mean, your nads are at stake. So. I need those. You only need one.
But anyway, I hope that this has been a decent profile of rye whiskey for you and will convince you to try some rye whiskey. I highly recommend Rittenhouse Rye. It provides you with shredded biceps in no time flat. Occasionally, I hear you might be able to get an autographed skateboard with it.
Oh, shit.
So, till we see you again, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jake.
And we're probably getting banned from YouTube.
Fuck it.
Hey everybody, if you like this video, hit a like or dislike, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you really like what we're doing, check us out over on Facebook where we post every day.